The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Excellent. So it looks like we're starting. Hi, everybody. How are you? So glad you could join us this evening. I am Mara from Lila Blue Strategies. I'm a marketing strategist doing my thing, and I'm so psyched to be here tonight with Annie, who is a social media guru, social media strategist from Collective Passions. We are so excited to share some simple Instagram secrets and strategies with you tonight to get your business really rocking this incredible social tool. Before I get started, I'm going to read my notes, some housekeeping items I don't want to forget, just so everybody flows along with the webinar. Hopefully this ensures a smooth evening and very on time and efficient. First, everyone's been muted to eliminate any of the background noise that you occasionally hear in a webinar. We're going to try and cover an awful lot in a really short period of time, so you can get on with your evenings. Everyone's got a life. But we will be answering questions at the end. So please type your questions into the chat box or the question box there in your GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll get to them just as soon as we can. If we don't have time at the end, to be respectful of everybody's night, we will make sure we get all these answers to you in our follow-up email, which will go out shortly after. About that email, we're going to send that in the next couple of days, hopefully tonight or tomorrow morning. It's going to have a link to the recording so you can catch up on anything you missed or hear anything again. It's also going to have the Q&A, and it's going to have some links and some really special docs for you guys. So we hope you stay right through to the end, and we'll get you that information. Again, if you have any questions, we are going to put our contact information up there at the end too, so that we can you guys can reach out to us if you have any follow-up questions that you might not have gotten to ask or get an answer to tonight. So enough with the boring stuff. I'm going to shut our webcam off because I tend to be a little too animated and distracting. But we're going to switch over to slides and get started. All right. So I met Annie a few months ago at a networking event. I knew right away that she was making a huge splash on Instagram, and she was growing her presence by leaps and bounds. Together, we felt that we had to bring our experience to businesses to help them grow their following and their revenue. It doesn't have to be hard, which we talked about at this fun networking event. And what we've learned is the best thing we could do is to pass it on to everybody else. But I had a dirty little secret. I don't like to admit that I had a dirty little secret, but I did. So I build comprehensive marketing strategies for clients, and that includes social media, including Instagram. I create plans for companies to use Instagram as one of the key tools that they use to build their brands and engage fans and new followers alike. I even use Instagram to share pictures of my kids and my food, my family, pretty things I see, but was not doing it for Lila Blue. You know how they say the cobbler's kids are the ones without shoes? Yeah, that's me. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here tonight, is because that second image you see, the Lila Blue Co. Instagram, is my current feed. There's actually one more picture on there from tonight. But that's what we're looking at. Yes, me, the marketer, does it for a living, consults with awesome clients, gets them up and running on it. Didn't really do it for myself. I don't want you to waste the time that I've wasted getting Lila Blue online on Instagram. I want you to erase your doubt and rock this thing like the superstar that you are. And you're going to learn from a superstar that's rocking her Instagram and has done amazing things in just a few months, like growing her following from 500 to 3,500 people, and I think even more as of tonight. We are going to show you why and how Instagram is a key component of your overall marketing strategy. Then we're going to teach you what you can do to grow your audience and engage your followers. Remember, 3,000 plus followers in 5 months. And before we wrap up, we're going to show you how to increase sales and generate revenue with Instagram. Totally. We're going to share with you some examples of businesses just like you that are doing just that, making Instagram an indispensable part of their strategy. You are in the right place tonight if you're wondering why anyone wants to see your company on Instagram. There's that doubt. If you're struggling with what to post or how to get followers, if you want to take it to the next level, start generating dollars through your Instagram engagement, you are in the right place tonight. At the end, we're going to introduce you to an awesome opportunity that'll take your knowledge and use of Instagram to the next level. You're going to take away some key strategies tonight to get you well on your way, things you can do tonight, tomorrow, the next day. But there's always more you can do, right? We all know that. So let's get started. No need to carry on anymore. Strategy, big deal, right? And this is the first thing we're talking about tonight. We do what we need to do when we need to do it, especially as marketers or small business owners. It needs to happen fast and it needs to happen furiously. There's very little time to sort of sit back and plan and look at the big picture. Who needs to do that? Who has time for it? You and you. So yes, it's a time suck, and you'll see here in this one slide that strategy and planning for marketers takes about 64% of time. So it's a huge piece of the strategy, but it will save you time in the long run. With so many channels to manage as part of a complete marketing strategy, you have to map out how they all complement each other, so you're not always recreating the wheel, which in this case, that wheel is your content. And what's the content that people want to see? Well, all of the things on your plate: content marketing, social media, email, advertising, website, mobile, blogs, video, events, trade shows. They're all leveraging the visual, all of them. In a world of constant info consumption, our eyes turn to what's, our eyes turn to what is most pleasing. They're gatekeepers to our brain. So why is it that there's all this anxiety around business on Instagram? Why did I, the marketer who's been doing this for 2 decades, freak out about getting Leela Blue on Instagram? We all worry about saying the wrong thing, showing the wrong thing. People aren't going to like it. There's no interest. But that's really the beauty of Instagram. It's speaking and conveying a message, a story, without words. Of all the channels, it's the most dependent on eye candy as the primary storyteller. So what then makes Instagram such a key part of our marketing strategy? You look at it, and nowadays, self-centered, sales-oriented advertising, totally irrelevant. People are done with advertising and salesy pitches. We don't want to be sold to. We value brands that stand for something. We want to know who the people are that we're buying from. We want to know who they employ and how they treat the people that work for them. It's a much more socially conscious environment nowadays in sales and marketing. It's about creating those long-lasting relationships, making those connections, and engaging, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Instagram's a way for you to tell your story as part of the larger marketing strategy and lets you craft it, lets you craft and connect with your audience so that you're creating those messages that you want to create. So when we look at it, focus on your audience, right? The demographics, what are you looking to accomplish? What are they looking to do or gain from you as your followers? And then engagement. There's a quote here from Distilled from March of this year. Brands need to embrace the fact that marketing on Instagram is less about selling the benefits of your products and services and more about establishing deeper connections with people, including industry thought leaders, employers, and prospective clients. That's what it's all about, and that's most important on Instagram. Andy's going to talk about both audience and engagement a little bit later. Totally her wheelhouse, but I want to tell you about the why. So Instagram is your place to tell your brand story, to give people a reason to connect, to choose you. Product or service, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you serve your clients or customers with. What matters is that you show them what you're like. It's the 3rd fastest growing social network. And the demographic, its largest demographic range, that 16 to 34 age group, those youngins, makes up 71% of its users. So you see that the numbers are growing, and Instagram is growing rapidly. The 75 million daily users, so that's people who engage on Instagram daily, want more than 140 characters or a daily status update. They want more than the business spin or the long-winded blog post. And they want to see who you are. They want to feel your culture. They want to interact with your company visually. They want to engage, and this is where they do it on Instagram. So here's an example real quickly of Starbucks. Starbucks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So they have 36 million fans on Facebook, and their engagement's at about 0.08 or 0.8%. Depending on if it's a paid or an organic post. Twitter, they have 10.3 million followers, and only 0.03% favorite a tweet and 0.01% retweet. But on Instagram, they may only have 6.2 million followers on Instagram, but the average like per photo is 3.3%. So engagement rates are a little bit higher. You do take into account, the followers and who you're interacting with, but those percentage rates are really important. So where do you start? So we're going to look real quick at sort of your first 3 top-level marketing strategy objectives. First, brand identity. Really important to think about before you get online on Instagram. Who are we? What makes us unique? What matters to me or us as a company? And what do we want people to know about us? think about these things because that's going to really form how you do those startup steps, whether it's profile, pictures, and the kind of content you're gonna post. Second are your objectives. So what do you want to get out of using Instagram? What sets you apart? What can you really focus on? Is it the way you engage with your employees? Is it the fun stuff that you do as an organization? Is it your product? Is it your service? Is there something about it that makes you completely different than all of your competitors and everybody else in your space? And then you also want to ask, what can Instagram do for your business? So what are you going to get out of Instagram that you're not going to get from any other social media platform? And then you're going to map it out. You're going to build your content map. You're going to integrate your social media channels. And we can talk a little bit more about that later on in the Q&A if people have specific questions, but it's really how you can make that content last, how you can make it carry through so you're not recreating the wheel like I mentioned every single time. And then where does your map go? Where are you headed? What are your goals? Make your path to get there, and then there's a route to actually follow. So Instagram, and that's very high level, but Instagram is such a valuable part of a comprehensive marketing plan. It's a critical part of social media campaigns, and it's the perfect opportunity to be out in front, especially in atypical industries and markets on a medium like Instagram. So now I get to toss it over to Annie. Annie has such an awesome background. Annie has her BS in mathematics and an MBA. She's got 5+ years in marketing experience at Lindt. So fantastic merchandising, marketing, different strategies for marketing and product stuff. So awesome experience there. She coded her first website at 15. And I'll let myself out of the bag here. Like, I don't know that I could do that. I can barely copy and paste an HTML bit into a website. So very impressive. But she has been involved in social media for what seems like forever. She was on Facebook before anybody knew what Facebook was. So she really knows her stuff when it comes to these mediums. She also recently launched a life and style blog and utilizes Instagram to drive traffic to the site, create community, and drive revenue. And she also is a phenomenal consultant and works with some local boutiques here in Portsmouth and some other fun stuff. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Annie to talk to you about sort of the nuts and bolts about how she got where she is with Instagram.
Awesome. All right, everyone. So my name is Annie. It's awesome to meet you all. I'm so excited that you are here. I am one half of Collective Passions, as Maura had said, and I also have a dirty secret. If you look at this really sad chart, the first half of it, you can see that I started my Instagram account about a year ago, and it took me about 7 months of fumbling around to finally figure out what I was doing. You can see that around June 29th is when the light bulb went off, and I've seen steady growth ever since that June timeframe. So that's 7 months of lost opportunity to get to know my target market and develop partnerships, services that they would need, or maybe even products based on what they need and getting to know my audience. So as you can see, since I've hacked Instagram, I've seen 7 times growth in 5 months' time. And going back to that stat with Starbucks, they typically see about 3% engagement on Instagram, and I see anywhere from 6 to 7%, which is pretty awesome. I really know my followers on Instagram, what they like to see from me, what kinds of things that they want, and it's allowed me to really grow my following and grow my tribe. So the other stat as well is that I pulled that top photo on Saturday, and it's actually out of date. As of today, I have 3.6K for my followers, which is awesome. So definitely, that's the proof is in the pudding that I figured it out, and I can help you figure it out also, both Maura and I. So one of my biggest challenges when starting my Instagram account was finding my audience and engaging with them. It's no surprise that this is also the #1 challenge of most businesses. Instagram is amazing for pushing passive visitors into passionate customers. And according to this company, Reengager, they focus a lot on marketing and email. They say that 47% of your visitors, they're not ready to buy quite yet, but they will buy sometime in the future. 3% are definitely ready to buy now, and 50% of people on your email list, they probably will never buy. So let me just go over that again. 47% are passive, 3% are ready to hand over their credit card, and 50% they are, dead followers to put it nicely. So you can definitely leverage Instagram to engage that 47% and turn them into super fans, because that's the goal with Instagram. Growing and engaging on Instagram takes work, but there are specific strategies that work better than others that I've tested and seen what works and doesn't work. And that's important for when you're trying to build your following and grow your business and utilize Instagram as a way to create revenue, additional incremental revenue. So our goal is minimal effort with maximum output. First of all, going into growth, the content that you have in your profile really matters. There are two things that people look at when they come to your profile. They look at your bio, which is the text underneath your name, and they look at your photography feed, which are the photos underneath. Your bio needs to clearly define what you do and how it will benefit the person looking at your profile. How will your account benefit them? Why should they follow you? Okay, so it's important to capture someone's attention and make that instant connection. For example, let's look at UPS versus FedEx. You can see at the bottom of the slide here. You view UPS's account and think that they created an Instagram because somebody told them to do it. It says UPS official Instagram. I don't know about you, but I look at that and I think, I don't know if I want to follow them. Maybe, maybe not. I don't want to clog up my feed. So it's not very compelling. But if you look at FedEx, on the other hand, they show you what they want, that they want to share their worldview with you, which sounds so much more exciting. And look at some of their photos. They're interesting. They have dogs and some kind of skeleton. And the photo on the right-hand side with the guy in front of the car, I'll go into this later, but they did a photo bombing, which is a play on a trend from last week with the Back to the Future hashtag that was trending. So look at the difference in the feeds. The UPS is not as bright. The one on FedEx is a little bit brighter, playful, more interactive for people to follow. The other thing is that your photo grid needs to be cohesive in content and in aesthetics. So the pictures on the top right is where I'll be talking about aesthetics. Your photos should be bright, unsaturated, and cool toned in color. I know that those are leaves, they're not exactly cool toned in color, but you can see the difference between an unedited photo and an edited photo with an app that I like to use called VSCO. It's a really great app because you can apply the same filters to all of your photos and it will help create a cohesive look across your grid. So if you look at the photos, my eye tends to go to the photo on the right, and I'm sure that yours does as well. So it's very important to create a good aesthetic on your feed and have a bio that captures the user's attention and makes them want to click follow. You can see from my screenshots that I did not follow UPS and I did follow FedEx. All right, so next with growth, engagement is a huge piece. It's called a social network for a reason. So if somebody finds you and they like your photos, they comment, you need to be reciprocal. You need to give them likes, you need to give them comments, and just pay it forward, give it back to them, and then they'll engage and they'll start to follow you, then they'll see your content, you'll be engaging back and forth, they'll start to trust you. You'll be building a relationship with your customers, and then they will start buying from you. That 47% of customers you have on your email list are going to change from passive to buying. So Instagram is also a great place to ask questions, which you can do in the caption of your photos. You can easily leverage your tribe to find out, what are they interested in? Maybe you've hit a creative roadblock and you don't know what to do next. Ask your tribe, ask them, what do you think about this? Or what are your problems? And, have a conversation, find out what they need so that you can offer them a solution. Remember, revenue is a byproduct when you put people first. Instagram is awesome for putting people first. It's also great for building community. It's the only social platform where you can truly engage with customers and build authentic relationships with them. So these are some examples of ways that you can engage customers outside of your brand aesthetics, brand photos, behind the scenes, relationship building. You can do giveaways, which excite customers that they could potentially win something from you. You can also involve them in challenges. So with my blog, I did a style challenge last week, which was so much fun. I got to know a whole new group of girls and grew my following a lot last week through that. So challenges create a deeper connection that can help you reach other networks when customers may not be engaged, because people will tag each other and say, oh my God, I found this challenge. You should follow along also. And then it becomes like girls and their friends involving everyone. And suddenly it's become kind of like a mini viral thing on Instagram. That's really fun. Next is growth. These 3 tips that I have for you, 3 additional tips that I encourage you to do after this webinar that will definitely help you. So number 1, do a competitive analysis. Look at what they're doing, other people in your industry. What are they doing on Instagram? What does their bio say? How does their photo grid look when you first take a glance at it? Observe and record what you like or you don't like about these accounts that you're looking at. And then next, go a level deeper and look at the individual photos to see how these brands, bloggers, companies, solopreneurs, how are they engaging with followers through visuals and captions. So this is that FedEx photo again. They did an awesome job tying a trending tag to a Back to the Future anniversary, which was last week. So that's the other tip, number 2. Observe trending tags and tailor your content to be relevant. That's a huge thing. There's always, the internet is so mobile, it's always changing. There's new trends that are coming up. So if you can capture the trends that are happening and then tailor your content to that, it makes you look like you know what's going on, you're relevant, and then people will like your photos and they'll like your brand, which will lead to revenue. So this photo was creative. It showed the funny and human side of the FedEx brand. I love this photo. Number 3, so explore recommended posts. Instagram uses an algorithm to find people based on your current user habits and hashtags that you use on your photos. And this can just be another great way to find people to connect with. And they don't necessarily need to be customers either. They could be other people in your industry or in your niche or other bloggers that could become your ally. And you can kind of form like a little mastermind group online. You can share ideas, insights, and just feed off of each other to really take both of your businesses or blogs or whatever you're trying to do to the next level, because it's better to work with others than to try to go at it alone. So I'm going to go over a little case study for engagement. I'm going to show you an example of how MailChimp utilizes Instagram to build relationships with their audience. Remember, the goal is to build relationships around people, and then from there, the revenue will come. So MailChimp is an online email marketing service for managing contacts, sending emails, and then helping you track the results. So take note of how they use Instagram to show people that they're cool, they're hip, they're fun. I mean, those images are just so funny to look at. Wouldn't you love to see those come up in your feed? So therefore, looking at these photos and looking at their feed makes you think, wouldn't they be a really cool company to manage my email marketing? So remember, relationships drive revenue. And next, we're going to talk a little bit about the revenue piece. So while MailChimp is a really large company, any business can utilize Instagram to grow their revenue. I'm part of a few business groups on Facebook, and I pulled just one of them to find out, does Instagram really help small businesses drive revenue, or is it just for brands, or who is it really helping? And on one post alone, so I made one post in one group, I received over 30 responses, and they were all just singing the praises of Instagram. Most people said anywhere from 50 to 60, some even said 100% of their sales come from followers on Instagram, which is crazy. It's awesome. Relationship building and calls to action to a link in your bio, they really do work, and people do click the link if you tell them what's in it for them. That's actually how some of you ended up being on this webinar call, is because I posted about it a couple times today and said how I was so excited to share my secrets and my tips and tricks to help you out with whatever you're trying to do. And here you are on the webinar. So that's just proof that it does work. Last week, another example, I had posted 2 photos about some giveaways that I was looking to partner with some friends on, some other bloggers, and a call to action to click on the link in my bio. And I received 60, that's 60, new email signups from 2 photos. And it's just amazing. I was able to convert a lot of those into what I was working on and build relationships with those people. And it's just awesome the way that Instagram can help you with those things. So there's a lot of things that you can offer to people. If you're a blogger, you can give people guides, or you can look for partnerships and collaborations. If you're a business, you can focus on, if you sell a product or you sell a service, or maybe you want to make a post because you're looking for some bloggers to do some sponsored posts for you and do some influencer marketing. So anything that you're looking for, you can find it on Instagram and have people click on your link and use that call to action to get people to sign up and give them a reason to want to work with you. So to summarize, we provided you with some tips for growth and engagement that build relationships, which lead to revenue. And now Maura will talk about going a little bit deeper with Instagram.
Thanks, Annie. So recapping really quickly, what have we learned? We've learned a couple of things. Strategy, we've learned to plan it out and jump right in. Don't waste any more time like we did. Engage. Definitely engage and connect with people. And then we've also learned that revenue follows relationships. So getting started is great. And that's kind of what we've covered tonight. We've talked a little bit high level, a little bit in the weeds with some of the things. But you can do so much more to really rock Instagram. And there are a few options that folks have. There's always consulting. You can go down the consulting road. I mean, that's how Annie and I make a living and really engage with our clients. So super fun. You could do straight up video courses online where there's no interaction and there's nobody really there to answer your questions or help you dig into individual issues and not really have that attention. Or you can rock it with Instagram. So Annie and I are excited to be offering a 5-week online course on Instagram for businesses that we're going to be doing. We're leading it. We're very excited. But it's perfect for bloggers, business owners, and solopreneurs. It's the next step, really, in you moving from the place of doubt about Instagram to really rocking it for your business. After participating in this course, you're going to have the skills to double your following, increase your revenue, and conduct meaningful and relevant engagements through Instagram. The course consists of 5 classes, and we're going to lay out how that happens. So these 5 classes are going to focus on the basics to make sure everyone's on the same page. We're going to focus on strategy, content, promotions, and then sales and revenue. There's going to be 1 module each week for 5 weeks. So how that works is each week on Monday, you're going to get a link to a short video class and worksheets that are going to help you integrate the material learned in that class with your business, with what your situation is, no matter what stage of business you're in. Then on Tuesdays, we're going to have a live call in the evening to address your specific questions for integrating the material for that week. In addition, we're going to have recordings of that. We're going to have a private Facebook group for the course participants to share goals and objectives, ask questions of each other, and share their work on the weekly materials. It's going to be awesome. You're going to be able to get involved with us, ask us questions, and you're going to have access to email us back and forth as well and chat with us in Facebook. There's so many opportunities out there for online learning, and we're taking it one step further by committing to giving you that personal access and private community to get the most out of your experience. The course is available to tonight's attendees, so that's you guys who had it in you, you knew you wanted more, for you guys to show up. It's going to be an investment of $497, which can be payable in full or in 3 installments of $175. So what's at stake? What's at stake if you don't invest the time and energy to make Instagram a part of your strategy? Who are you missing out on reaching? What messages are you not communicating? What could you be planning for, and what could you accomplish as early as Q1 in 2016 if you had this deeper knowledge of Instagram? So you can follow the link on the screen. It's a bit.ly link. It's a little, it's bit.ly/1K7 capital HJB capital R. So very easy to say. It just rolls right off the tongue. But you're going to get this. You're going to get this slide deck and an email, and there'll be a link in there as well. But the course is going to start on November 9th. So you can follow the link, register for the course, and then you'll have 2 weeks to sort of get ready, get the dates in line, and sort of map out how you're going to really engage and rock it on Instagram. So to give you an idea of what's in store, we've created a couple of links, a couple of documents we're going to send along in the follow-up email. But very high level, we're going to be covering account setup, editing photos, optimizing your feeds and captions, using geotags and hashtags strategically, how to use video on Instagram. We're going to talk more about defining your goals, storytelling, and a full marketing integration plan and how you can really rock that. For content, we're going to talk about the who, what, where, when, why. We're going to talk about curation and creativity and really focus on growth engagement, how to engage those followers that leads us to the next phase, which is sales and revenue. And before we get to sales and revenue, we're going to talk a little bit about promotions and giveaways. It's a really good strategic nugget to talk about when we're engaging our audience. And then sales and revenue, we're going to talk about all the different facets of it, ads to that relationship building and what takes those relationships, that next step from that engagement piece. So we're going to talk about all those different levels. We are going to offer a satisfaction guarantee to you guys. If you're not satisfied with the course after the first 2 sessions, you can totally request a refund by November 18th. We'll have a great conversation. We'll talk about how it didn't meet your needs if that's the case. But we are 100% positive that you are going to love this course and you're going to love the interaction that we're able to provide. So we're excited to show you how to take that Instagram action to the next level, and know that you're going to find the materials and the interaction invaluable as you build your social media presence in this uber visual channel. Your next step to completely rocking Instagram is to dig in and don't waste any more time. It's not for everyone, and that's totally okay. If you're ready to jump ahead though and increase your sales and revenue and build your following, head on over and sign up. It is going to be a little bit limited because we really want to be able to interact with folks. So make sure you get on that as soon as possible if it's totally interesting you. So we are going to get started with that class in a couple weeks, but for now, we want to stop and see if anybody has any questions for us. Pull this up. I know that some people were kind of interested in my Instagram, which I showed at the beginning, my business Instagram versus my personal Instagram. Quite comical from a marketer's perspective, right? I mean, hello, why weren't you on there? And as I said to Annie when we first met, it was definitely a challenge for me because I was like, I'm marketing, I do services, I work. It depends on who I'm working with, what I do. But then she was like, listen, dude, you got to get on there. There's so much about your personality, and that's why people interact with you, and that's why people hire you, is to kind of do your thing and do it the way you do. So I know that was one question that we got earlier, and some questions about the content of the course itself. So we covered a little bit of that. Do you want to switch it to a camera? We could actually. Let's switch it over to camera so people can see us answer these questions.
Yeah. See our pretty faces.
Are we there? Are we there? We are there. I just can't see it. There we go. Oh, hey, there we are. Now we can see ourselves.
We didn't even know it.
Awesome. Do you want to answer that question, Annie?
The name of the photo app again for Instagram. So it's called VSCO. VSCO. It's free. You can buy filter packages. If you don't like the stock ones that they provide to you and you don't like the aesthetic that it's giving you, you can always download your own filter packages for 99 cents. So it's really an inexpensive investment. There's other features where you can adjust the saturation, the brightness, the exposure, the contrast, the sharpness, all the things that you can, the basics that you get in Photoshop, but all in one place. So it's called VSCO, VSCO.
Awesome. Let's see, where did my mouse go? There we go.
You're welcome.
Awesome. You're welcome, Angela. Thanks for tuning in
question.
tonight. That was a really good question because I had no idea that it was
I
only
said it really
VSCO.
fast. Yeah, I said it fast.
The spelling was good. All right. So what we will do is if any other questions come in, we will definitely make sure we include them in the follow-up email. And I am going to throw up on the screen real quick our contact info. Did it get there? There we go. So Maura at lilablue.com and Annie at collectivepassions.com. Reach out if you have any questions whatsoever. We are going to send you guys the follow-up email. So if you missed it, you'll have all the information. And again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. So thanks so much for joining us. It's been great to share these tips with you.
Yeah.
It's been super
So
fun.
much fun.
I hope we get to do a lot more of these. This will be kind of fun.
I know.
So we're looking forward to working with you during the upcoming course. Don't hesitate, again, to reach out to us with any questions, and we will see you on the interwebs.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Bye.